I have a little bit of a situation here. Let me explain. Someone named David, he's trying to send me money via PayPal. Now David, I don't have good news for you. I cannot accept any money from whoever. This is not, I think, in line with the purpose of this YouTube channel. The whole idea is to show that you can make things and have a good time in your workshop with limited tooling. I'm perfectly aware not everybody has a shaper, but that's not the point, of course. The point is, if you have just a few tools and a bit of scrap metal, you can make something. You can make something useful, and with these useful things you can continue make other useful things, and all this for low cost. That's a bit the idea behind this YouTube channel. For example, this homemade belt sander is built completely out of scrap. All this square tubing are leftovers, and this is a part of a cheap and crappy drill press. I cut the head off and I use the table and I can tilt it, very handy. And the total cost for this machine, zero, nothing, all left over in recycling. What I like when you're limited in the tools you can use is that you have to think sometimes out of the box. And I would like to say out of the book. Who needs a book anyway? The book is not always right. The book is not always correct. It's a good base, but sometimes you make something like they say you have to do it in a book and it doesn't work. And to illustrate the advantage of thinking out of the box, we're gonna have a little walk in the garden. Let me show you a very nice example of it. Years ago, my kids built this little birdhouse made from leftovers of plywood and some other stuff they could find. And for example, the hole, they filed it by hand. This has no specific dimensions, they just made it like they come up with, and every year there's a nest in it, and it's really beautiful to see the parent birds going flying in and out to come and feed their baby birds. And now we're gonna walk 3 meters that way. Also, years ago I built this little birdhouse, but I didn't know a thing about birdhouses, how to make it, so I asked a specialist and he sent me some official paperwork how you have to do it. So this thing is built exactly according to the ornithologic housing engineering specifications. There's never been a nest in it. So David, I suppose you've got a point. Of course I want to thank you for your more than generous offer, but you understand I cannot accept. What I do accept is the exchange of little gifts. If you have something in double, then okay, send to someone else, and I'm gonna give you a very nice example of it. A few days ago I received this package from Kimberzelik. I suppose you recognize his sticker, and in here he sent me a bunch of his brand new stickers. One of them is gonna find its place on my cheap door, of course. Put them here. And inside, look what he sent me. A handful of spring dividers. I'm going to take them all out. Voilà. That is the kind of gifts I appreciate, because I think Kimber Zelik, of course he's a good man, like most YouTube creators, and these dividers he had too much. So what he does, he's sharing with other YouTubers. I think that's fantastic. And if one day I have something in double or something I don't need and I think could be useful to him, it's for sure I will send to him. So Kimber Zelik, thank you very much. I really appreciate it. Right, now maybe you remember that I experimented a bit with this engine part, this cylinder, to redo this surface. And I was never very happy with the finish on it. There's always these little lines left in here. And I used this shear tool. And for me, I think the shear tool was always trying to dig in the material. And what worked perfectly was my tap shear tool. And I think I figured it out why. Now, this angle here on the tap tool is 3 degrees. This angle on the official shear tool was 15 degrees. Of course, that's way too much, so the dig-in theory could be correct. Now I changed it. I made the same angle as on the tap tool. It's 3 degrees also. I gave it a try in the lathe. Here a bit more than 10 millimeter. And the finish is more than decent. It's almost perfect finish on cold roll steel. Not easy to get good finish on it. I also tried a little bit on this plate, which used to be my old angle plate, and there's some places it didn't clean up completely, but the finish here is more than decent. So a 3 degree angle on this side seems to work well on steel. Now I would like to try again, of course, on aluminium, but this part is so much cut off that here I'm gonna touch the valve seats. Now this is hardened steel probably, so I'm gonna ruin my cutting tool, so I need to find something else. It wasn't too hard to find something I can use. Engine part. Now this cylinder head is also aluminium, so we can give it a go on this surface. And I think the hardest part could be to take the spark plug out. Let's give it a go. That was easy. Now the next challenge will be to mount this part here on the shape table. As you see, there's no machined surfaces here. Oh, indeed there is a problem with this cylinder head. We'll fix it. There's no need to, just for playing around, but we'll fix it. I think I'm gonna use these 3 bolt holes things, studs here, and these 3 pins. That could work. Okay, I'm gonna take a look around and find some useful scrap to mount it on the machine. I think we're getting somewhere. Now to compensate this difference in height I need 9 millimeters. These two parallels give me 10 millimeters. It's a bit too much, but I will shim the other side and then I can use these pieces of angle iron to clamp it down this way. Drill a hole in here, put a T-nut, a bolt. But as they are a little bit too high, I'm gonna cut off a piece here, so they are nice and horizontal. Of course I can cut them off in no time with the angle grinder and then clean it up a bit. It's not a problem, but there's two reasons why I do it on the shaper. First one, angle grinding dust is not good for me. You know, cancer and dust doesn't mix very well. And the second reason, I have a shaper, so why not use it? Okay, I installed this one here to prevent the parts from escaping. And there's a bit a hangover, not a hangover, overhang here, but that's okay, that will hold. Okay, I dialed in 0.5 millimeter. Clapper is, the tool slide is locked. Let's go for it. The step over is 2/10. It's flexing. You can see the parts are flexing, but I think that will do. I will bring you back when I reach this line here. This is the last pass. I reduced the step over to 1/10 and I take a cut at depth of 1/10 of a millimeter. Okay. Let's take these things out of here and give a little cleanup on the belt sander. I think I did something stupid here. As you see, I cut off too much from this side, so they're not really parallel. There's no need to be exactly parallel, but should be better. And then I was thinking I could put some shims here. Shims, and now this looks good. And on this side could maybe work, but I'm almost here at the end of the table, and if there is a little bit of movement, the thing will fall off. So I don't think it's a good idea. It could work, it could work. So I came up with another plan, much easier. I cut off a stud and I bolt the thing down on the table through the hole of the spark plug. This seems to hold. Now it's only one bolt, but that's not a problem. I'm gonna take very light cuts, so there will be no problem. Second idea is, of course, if here is this clamp, I will put this in. I don't have access to the underside of the part to put shims under it. I'm gonna make it, put it nice and parallel, and then I have to put some shims, and here now I have easy access to shim it. Let's do. That was a very time-consuming process to put these shims here, to have it straight, because this cylinder head is a bit banana shaped, and these little surfaces here, this one is leaning inwards, this one is leaning outwards, so in the same direction as the other one. So it was really not easy to have it straight. But now I have a difference of maximum 0.2 of a millimeter between the higher spot and the low spot. Now that we know that this tool is performing well in steel, now we're gonna see what it does in cylinder headium. Let's go for it. Maybe first plug the machine in. Yeah, that's better. I think I forgot to lock this one. Now it's locked. I don't think it will clean up in one pass, so probably I'm gonna make 2 or 3 passes to have it nice and straight. This is the result after one cut, and I suppose you can see, I hope you can see, that I only cut here a bit and here, that's all. So indeed this part is a bit like a bathtub. So we're gonna take a second pass and see if it cleans up. The second pass is finished, and now I'm doing a spring pass in the other direction, and that's why you see that the feed mechanism is working on the working stroke and not on the back stroke. But it's a very, very light cut, it's barely touching. So for the mechanism, I suppose there's no problem. It will hold. And that's the finish we get with a shear tool at 3 degrees. So it's still not perfect. I will wobble around a bit in the light. You can see it's very nice and shiny. I don't think you can see on camera because it doesn't show. There's a little bit of lines on this side and on this side. You can see the lines, but you cannot feel the lines. So I think with the shear tools we're getting somewhere. This one much better than this one. So Kimberzelik, as you can see, your new sticker is on the cheap door. I had a really hard time peeling this paper off, but I did it. It's okay. It's because I'm trembling. Maybe you've seen it in other videos already. I have very shaky hands because of this medication I have to take. And Kim Berzelik, I want of course to thank you again for this fantastic gift. All these calibers you will find good use here in the shop. To conclude, if your neighbor asks you if it's possible to resurface the cylinder head of his mower machine, just say yes, it is.